बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाज़रीन। अॼु के ख़ुसूसी प्रोग्राम में असांजे जगह ते मौजूद आहियूं। इन जगह जी हज़ारनि सालनि जी पुरानी तहज़ीब आहे ऐं अॼु हिते मौजूदु हुजण जो मक़सदु सिर्फ़ु इहो आहे ताकि असां दुनिया खे ॿुधाए सघूं त सिंध में ख़ासि तौर ते पाकिस्तान में घणो कुझु आहे जंहिंखे अञा दुनिया तां मुंहुं पेश करण जी ज़रूरत आहे। अॼु के ख़ुसूसी प्रोग्राम जी ॿी जेका ख़ुसूसियत आहे उहा इहा आहे त अॼु असां वटि जेके महिमान आहिनि उहे पाकिस्तान में अमेरिका जा सफ़ीर कैमरोन मंटर साहब ऐं उन्हनि जी घरवारी मिस मैरिलिन वाइट आहिनि असां सां गॾु ऐं उन्हनि सां असां ॻाल्हि ॿोल कंदासीं। पहिरियां असां मोहन जे दड़े जे हवाले सां सिंध जी तहज़ीब जे हवाले सां ॻाल्हाईंदासीं, उन खां पोइ जेका जनरल ॻाल्हि ॿोल असां कंदा रहंदा आहियूं पंहिंजे प्रोग्राम से उन हवाले सां ॻाल्हाईंदासीं। So first of all, I would welcome you here at this great place, and madam, thank you very much for giving us time.
It's really a pleasure to be with you, and thank you for this opportunity.
So what perception you drive when you look at the mound behind? You have been visiting here, you have visited this mound since last 30 minutes. So what did you feel about this?
You know, there's a number of impressions you get. One is of the greatness and the richness of your culture, the many years that this has been a great center of civilization, and the great tradition that Pakistan can draw on and that Sindh should be so proud of. Another is the fact that this is something that is a great opportunity for international cooperation, that we hope that Americans, but not only Americans, others through the UN and through other organizations can help to preserve this and hopefully in the future have more of our people come to see what you've got here to understand your culture better. Those are a couple of my impressions. Maybe Marilyn has a couple as well.
Well, my husband and I spend a lot of time thinking about today, what's going on in Pakistan today and what will happen tomorrow. Or could happen, and so it's just a wonderful rest for the mind and the spirit to come and think about the past, particularly one that's as deep and as rich as this one. It's a beautiful day. Well,
in our society, you know, wives always do agree with husbands.
Oh.
As I've learned about you, you've been working on archaeology or studying on archaeology. So what other perception you drive from this? And right this, we have seen that since this mound has been discovered, but there isn't any development. So do you have any suggestion for the government of Pakistan to work here and to just get this thing developed?
I suppose that probably the best course would be to find international partners. You know, rescuing and preserving a site this enormous is extremely costly, and the funds are hard to come by. But this is a very important one in the history of the world. And I think that there could be partners, probably many partners are needed. A lot of work needs to go into knitting those partnerships together and getting the funding. It's probably the work of many years. But I think it can be done because this is just so important, not just for Pakistan, but for the entire world.
Well, so we always talk about history, but when we come or when we visit places like this, we see that we have just left history to just remain history. We don't explore history anymore. We just talk about history. So, you know, government of Pakistan should take this place or places like this to top concern, to top priority, to develop them. And as we have seen in the world, almost in your country, in our country, there's concern of security. But when we visit provinces like Sindh, there's peace everywhere in this province. So these types of places should be developed as foreigners should come here, visit here, and just enjoy the hospitality of the people of this area.
We agree absolutely. When we think of the relationship of Pakistan and America, of the Pakistani people and the American people, it's precisely what you said that we think builds the understanding and gets us to really develop the incredible respect that we have for the depth of your culture and for the friendliness of your people. This is the kind of opportunity when we talk about assistance that we really think is the kind of partnership where your knowledge, we have some very knowledgeable people who've taken us around here, and our expertise and those of other people around the world can be brought together. Let's take the technical problem we heard about today about water and about salt. This is something that is not unique to Pakistan. This is something that monuments around the world, I'm sure, have suffered from. We need to bring to bear the knowledge that other people have gotten in preserving other monuments so that everyone gets to take part in the preservation of your past and in the understanding of your past. That's the relationship I think is the basis of our friendship and that I'd like to see more of.
Okay, madam. How does it make you feel that an ambassador who has been working in war-affected areas and you have been working on archaeology, How does it take your relationship?
Well, you know, sometimes it takes the past to preserve the present and to create the future. So I think we're a good partnership ourselves.
So you've been working on that formula.
Right. Yeah. I'm not an archaeologist by training, but I do have a deep appreciation for this kind of monument and for the horizon it opens up for all of us to think about where we've come from, who we're indebted to, where our roots are.
Sir, as I was studying about you, you have almost worked in war-affected areas, because I have taken this opportunity, sitting on Mohenjo-daro and asking you this question. This might be, something very much amazing or exciting for you, but tell me how hard it is in Pakistan, especially when you were in Iraq and now in Pakistan. What difference you feel between both countries?
They're very different countries, Pakistan and Iraq. Iraq is coming out of a war, and we all hope, I think all of us who are friends of Iraq, we all hope that it'll be peaceful, and that the people in that country who've had such a difficult time over the last years can, in this period after the war, build a society that's tolerant and open. And so we have hope for them in a way that is universal. Now in Pakistan, I think you have a whole different set of traditions, a whole different set of cultural strengths. The tradition of your society, which is so rich and so full of different histories, like you see here, the different people who were in this site over time. I think you have, in many ways, advantages over Iraq. That you have a civilization that is so strong and so rich that you can really make something of this as you define the way forward in the future in Pakistan. I'm very optimistic in the long run about your ability, because of the talent of your people, because of the history of these kinds of areas, and because of the potential for people to work in these kinds of areas, that this can be a very successful country based on its self-knowledge about its past and the respect that it gains through that self-knowledge from the people who are its friends.
Okay, when I'm sitting beside Latkana, we can't forget Mahatma Benazir Bhutto, because the country is at a site, our city is at a site. But you being a woman, how do you see the future of Pakistani women while keeping in mind the current situation of the society where there is honor killings and we men always violate the rights of the women here in this country?
I am always struck by the fact that I think women are Pakistan's greatest untapped resource. We have many women here who are highly educated, who aren't putting their education to use. We have other women who want to work or who need to work because, face it, Pakistan, like many other countries, is now a place where two incomes are often needed to support a family. And so there's just a tremendous economic might, I think, that's not being tapped into in the women. And they also can contribute so much to the political process. You've had a woman president,
Prime Minister,
Mrs. Bhutto, which we haven't had.
Prime Minister,
but a leader, which we haven't had in our country. And so I think in certain ways, Pakistani women have really carved the way for women around the world to assume leadership roles in public service. But the doors need to be open to them. You do have women who have the reserved seats, but it would be great to see more and more women running for elected office and really taking part in the decision-making processes that affect them, that affect their families and their communities.
Mr. Ambassador, this place is 5,000 years old, and when we talk about socio-economic conditions of this specific place, we get amazed that our ancestors were that much rich in economics, in their civil society, in their culture and everything. But today, when we see Pakistan, and especially Sindh, socio-economic condition is worst of its all times. So what do you feel about that, and how America can be at Pakistan's side, where Pakistan is fighting a war? It's a frontline, ally of USA. What better options can be used in the future? Because whatever has been done is done. So what are the future options?
Well, first of all, I like very much your question, because we like to think about what can be done in the future. And even though we respect the past and learn from the past, We're a culture that really likes to look for what can we do, what are the next moves. And frankly, I think that's something that my Pakistani friends feel as well. I think there's an affinity between our people to solve problems, to deal with issues that I think is going to be the basis of a partnership that we're going to have for many years to come. What we want to see most of all from the leaders in Islamabad, from the leaders in Karachi, from the leaders throughout your country, and not just the elected leaders, but the business leaders and the NGO leaders and the leaders in media. What we want to see everywhere is their vision, how they want to build the country so we can support them. Sometimes our assistance is criticized because they say, oh, you're coming in here and you want to tell us how to do this. That's not what we want. What we really want is to say, here is a vision from the Pakistanis about Pakistan, and we, as their friends, we'd like to follow that vision. If you have a priority to fix a historical site, we'd love to be there right behind you to help. If you'd like to work on energy, we'd like your suggestions. Tell us how we can help. We want the Pakistani people to understand that it's a Pakistani solution to Pakistani issues, and that we think other friends, like the Europeans, like the Japanese, like the people around the world, that we'll all be there to support you if the leadership comes from the Pakistani leadership.
Well, sir, we'll just continue our discussion, but there's a break time, so I just need to get a break. Naazreen, program time dekhi short break jo break ka poe Ameriki safir sa kuch vadik gal bol. Stay tuned and keep watching our show.